Okay, so it's going to be the first episode where I just speak with no guests. I'm going to call these solo sessions because I feel like maybe people might be interested in what I have to say. Maybe they'll get a lot of downloads and help the podcast out. We'll see. It could be a once a week thing, once every 2 weeks, once a month. I don't know yet. This is the first one, so thank you for checking it out. 100 episodes in. This has been a grind. This has been such a grind. I've been doing 10 episodes a week. It's a lot of scheduling, a lot of logistics that go into it. People say, how do you do this? So, how do you do this? So, what I'll do is I'll record 3 or 4 episodes in one day. That's not the challenging part. The challenging part after that is, after that, I usually have to go teach for, 4 hours, so it's been that in the just doing that back to back, during the week and then on the weekend doing gigs and stuff like that. It's been a grind, but you gotta really push if you want to make your statement. I have had to sacrifice practicing the guitar, which kind of sucks, but this just comes with the territory. If you want to do something, there are those sacrifices that are made. And teaching is really good too because I do still get to have the instrument in my hands. But no, nonetheless, we're 100 episodes in right now, and I'm not planning on stopping. Ideally, the goal would be to have 1,000. That would be great. I'm just there's no plans on stopping. I like I said, I do about 10 of these a week. And but come March, that will slow down a little bit just so I can get back to having a normal schedule. And I'll instead of maybe 10 a week, I'll bring it down to three. There's also some ideas I have about doing some long form interviews in person at the studio. So if, I'm still figuring out those logistics in terms of getting a videographer. So that might be happening. And let me just say, I thank every single one of you who have listened to my podcast and shown interest in what we're doing. I really want to give musicians, jazz musicians, the chance to tell their story. The art we create is so personal. There's a lot of struggles that go into it. There's the influences we have that have affected us more than we can say. It's just that part of us that no one can get to. That thing that it's like, I only know what it's like to be Abe Ovadia. This person only knows what it's like to be them. So to have people come on my podcast and really be open, that I think that's just beautiful. Some people have gotten emotional on the podcast. We've had a lot of laughs. That's been the best. That's been the biggest surprise of it all, just being able to laugh with some of these guests as well and really laugh. Um, to interview some of my heroes and also just have a conversation with them. People like Randy Johnston, um, people like Orlando LaFleming on the bass, John Harrington. It's just this is great. And for the most part, everyone I ask to do this says yes. I mean, there's only been a couple of people who have said no. I'm not going to name them, and that's totally fine. I don't take it personally. I asked one person to do it, and they politely declined, but I wrote them back and I said, if you ever, you know, reconsider, my door is always open, but just know this one album you recorded, a live album at the Village Vanguard really affected me. And just, it's something I love. So just to let them know, if I ask you to be on the podcast, you know, I don't, I don't just email anybody to do this. It's very thought out. It's people I want to talk to. Um, and the people who come on here who are open, like I said, that's beautiful. The people who want to be surface and maybe have their guard up a little bit, that's fine too. I just hope that when you leave, I hope that there's energy that's got out into the universe, that maybe you get some more exposure, even just one more fan. It's all just energy that we put out. But I'm not going to get all spiritual and shit when we talk about this. So I do want to address a couple things. Last night about 1 o'clock in the morning. Well, I was thinking, I'm a big fan of journaling. I think it's therapy. I think as humans, we take in so much, and whether it's something little or something big that affects us negatively, it's all just stuff that's repressed, that gets built up in our body. It manifests itself in a variety of ways, from pain, physical pain, to headaches, to stomach aches, the mind body, it's the same thing. And the way to really, rid that built up stuff is to talk about it, journal. So this is going to maybe end up being something I journal. I'm going to talk about stuff that I didn't talk about, that I've been wanting to talk about. Maybe someone's interested. Maybe one person will hear something I say and say, "Oh, wow, he knows what I'm going through." I thought I was the only one who dealt with this. But we're all just going through this crazy world. So, there's been a couple instances on my podcast where I'm having a conversation with somebody, and then maybe like midway through, they say, "Are you a guitar player? What do you play?" And I'm usually pretty friendly about it. I said, "Yes, I'm a guitar player." But the truth is, my blood boils a little bit. It kind of pisses me off. So I posted a picture on Instagram of my story last night. It's like 1 o'clock in the morning when I was just thinking about this stuff. And I wrote, always funny when a guest on my own podcast asks if I play guitar. Just a couple of decades in, but maybe I need to start introducing myself with a solo. So, just kind of a playful way to address that issue. But when you put more than half your life into something. I mean, I've been doing this, professionally. Let's just say we call it my professional journey started when I went to Berklee College of Music, even though I was playing gigs before that. Well, let's just say that that's like 20 years. I mean, I feel like just read if you don't know who I am, that's fine. I don't really care. I don't know who everybody is. I'm learning about new people all the time. But just read the email. If I introduce myself, I am a jazz guitarist. That's number one. On the podcast page, it's like a link to my personal Instagram profile when it says, Abe Ovadia music. It's clearly I'm a musician. Why would I start a jazz podcast? I mean, I'm a jazz musician. I mean, of course, there are critics who could start this or blah, blah, blah. But yeah, I mean, I introduced myself in the email. And wouldn't you want to know who's interviewing you? What are their credentials? Is it just some random person who likes to talk to jazz musicians? Like, I would want to know personally. It's fine. It's just something that I wish more people just did a little bit more due diligence, and they didn't, and they're on their own agenda. That's fine. But just it is something that has happened a couple of times, so I want to address that. So if you're a guest coming up, yes, please visit my website. Um, anyway, I that happened a couple of times, but it's what it is. Got some great guests coming up. I'm really excited about it. And today I'm going to be talking to Frank Basile, great baritone player, and also Peter Apfelbaum. So it'll be two really great people. These people are established musicians, but I think that's something else I wanted to talk about. There are the gatekeepers in this music, in the scene, nationally, internationally, the people who decide who goes into the clubs. It's very political. You have to play a game sometimes. You gotta inflate people into how great they are to get booked sometimes, or it could be a game sometimes. I mean, I'm very thankful to people who book me and who have given me chances. Sometimes I was not ready for those chances at all. Like playing at the Iridium, 12 years ago when I was in my early 20s. It's just like I was not ready for that at all. But I mean, like I guess they saw something in what I was doing. Um, and I'm always going to be forever, forever grateful for the people who give me a chance. But um, for every one person that gives you a chance and books you, there's probably about another 50 who don't. It's a grind. It never becomes easier, to do this. And once we decide we're going to do it, we're in it. And I'm very happy to give younger musicians a chance to come on and speak and tell their story. I have people who are just, you know, they're a name in the world of music. People know who they are. They're famous in the jazz world and in this music. I'm so thankful to them, but I'm also so thankful to young people too. I will never forget how some, people treated me when I was younger, and I told myself I would not treat anybody like that, who's a younger musician. We're all trying to do this. So I'm really happy, if you're a younger artist or an established artist who wants to come on and speak, it's pretty easy. There's a little section on the website. You can just fill out a form. Just tell me why you want to come on. Tell me what you've been doing and stuff. And I'm not going to be a gatekeeper. I just want to learn about you. And for every person I talk to, there's always something to learn. Uh, and that doesn't change whether you're a master musician or whether you've been doing this for maybe 5 years. I feel like kind of once you're in it, you're in it. So, please reach out. We've got a lot of guests coming up, but as I said, I will be scaling back a little bit. And this is the first solo episode, and I hope you enjoyed it. We'll see how it does. And thank you for listening.